So I just wanted to show a little bit about what I'm doing with my hand pieces for the pneumatic engraver. First of all, this one, as I showed in the other video, is working very well. I have it unscrewed already. I've got my piston here and my spring. Now, from what I understand, there's a chamber here. I got two vent holes, one on either side, and I have the spring which fits in here, and the piston, which the small part goes, into the spring, and the spring actually hits this upper lip right here. But the piston fits perfectly in this chamber, and there's not much wiggle room. I mean, not much air can get past it. However, it's small enough to where it fits inside the chamber. Again, real quick, I'll show you how it's working. Very aggressive. Now this other one that I have has a bigger chamber to start with. You can kind of see this one is a lot bigger, and even right here it has a much bigger chamber on it. And so that means the piston was bigger, the spring was bigger, and you watch the other video, you'll see how less aggressive it is. And it's not necessarily that I need it as aggressive as this one, but I mean, it was just kind of humming. It wasn't even really, hammering or whatever you want to call it. I mean, it was pretty bad. So far, at this point, I've tried making the piston smaller and changing the spring a little bit. That's not really working. So at this point, all I've done is found a copper pipe that fits over top of this piece perfectly, and you can kind of see on the inside of it, there's like, this much of it is like a little rod that's part of this. And it's been hammered on. I kind of sat here and hammered it for a while, but it actually fits perfectly. It's airtight, so I really like how that's working out. Now, I'm thinking I can use the original chamber here and even the vent holes. I'm going to have to drill through the copper, but I'm going to start by drilling through maybe 2 of them, not all 6, and just kind of test out as I go and see how things work out, kind of flush that side up. But I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through a lot of the self-explanatory parts. I kind of just explained exactly what I was going to do. And then, of course, I'm going to have to find a smaller piston and a smaller spring to fit in there. But I'm thinking it should work about the same as this, as long as, the piston fits perfectly in here, but is loose enough to move up and down very quickly. It's really the main, working mechanism of this whole thing. Cool. Oh, yeah, I don't want that to get stuck. I'll probably fill in this little gap right here because I don't want that to get stuck like that, but I'm not sure if that really does anything. Anyways, let's see how this fits. Seems like that fits pretty nicely. Oh, did you hear that? When that comes out, it makes a little popping noise, like the air is being sucked. Right there. Heard it that time. Aha. So when it's facing that way. Alright, let me drill a couple holes in this copper and put it together and see what it does. So like I said, I'm just going to do 2 vent holes right now. That was a little mess up I did on that one. But let me actually put this thing together, the original parts on it, and see what happens. Got my little piston here. I need to seal that up real quick. So what I was going to do for that is I was actually just going to do some 2-part epoxy. So I've already got most of the glue actually in there. It's sealed. Just adding a little bit more to the rim. Definitely going to wipe up the edge here with my baby bib. So I'm going to go ahead and let that dry for a couple of minutes. That glue right there. And I actually stuck my mouth on it and blew through it, and the two vent holes that I have seem to be working fine. Everything is airtight, other than that, obviously. And basically I'm gonna, stick my spring down in there and then stick the piston that I made and see how it works. Alright, so I got this thing sealed up. The glue is nice and dry. I'm gonna go ahead and put this thing together and we'll see what happens. Go ahead and turn it on. So because this chamber is slightly shorter, it is actually going to allow me to go at a slower speed. So I can actually slow this thing down really slow, like that. So I'll show you on this one real quick. This is my more aggressive one. This right here is about as slow as it can go. I'm turning the dial down. That right there is about as slow as it'll go. Because right there, it's not really doing much. I'm gonna turn it up slightly. It can go pretty fast. That's about as fast as it'll go. Now my other one could go much slower, but it couldn't go as fast. So now I have a much wider range on how slow I can go and how fast I can go, depending on which handpiece I'm using.